So I want to welcome Jordann Gross and Eddy Bruin. I met Eddy a little bit later, but the way that I met Jordann Gross was interesting. And I can't remember exactly if it was the first meeting or the second meeting, but in both cases it was unusual. He's a bit of a Mad Hatter, really, right? So Play for Agile up in Canada, which I highly recommend. Great experience. There was the theme of Alice in Wonderland, and he was the Mad Hatter. And I have to say, I didn't realize he was actually not the Mad Hatter because he seemed to be in that role very well. But it turns out he's also a real person and is not always the Mad Hatter. And I thought, this is a very playful person. And when Jillian and I were thinking about who to bring in as the keynote, and there was a number of folks, and unfortunately can't have everybody, that was one of the names that came to mind. And thankfully he accepted. And Eddy Bruin is one of his co-conspirators at oh my God, Serious Games. And they've done a lot of amazing activities. And for instance, at Play for Agile Germany, where they had some blocks where you had to figure out, those different perspectives and all these different very ingenious games. And I highly recommend them, both for the work that they do and the games that they can bring and that you can bring into your organization. All right. So that's a little bit about our wonderful keynote, folks. And Jordann, why don't you take us from there? And I notice you have a lab coda. Are you in the lab today?
Well, thanks for that lovely introduction, Damon. And indeed, I think everyone here is in the lab today because we're gonna experiment with human behavior. That's what serious games are all about for Eddy Bruin. That's how you pronounce the name in Dutch. And Jordann Gross, that's how you pronounce my name in Dutch. But no offense taken, Damon. Yeah, Eddy and I, we've been by daylight, we're most often organizational coaches. So we hope to prevent more organizations of having their own Kodak moment. And doing that work, we discovered, the power of serious games. Also because both of us are pretty big board gamers in the weekends. So we found a way to combine those two things. And initially the invite was for the physical Games New England event that Damon just talked about, which I would have loved. I see some familiar faces from, in addition, pre-corona. So I would have loved to return there. But for today, Eddy and I will take along on an experiment online.
And in order to do so, we are going to ask you to go to a Miro board. Now, no worries if you have no experience with Miro, because we're gonna let you land a little bit on that tool. And even if you do know it, you can tag people along. So I'll post the link in the chat, and you can go straight away to the board, where you will see a very big sign of a very famous movie picture. And a couple of hidden frames. It's Jurassic Park. Let's see, I see some people dropping in. The link you can find in the chat in Miro. Simply on the bottom controls, click on chat and you'll be able to find the link. And there you see a very, very, very large picture of the movie Jurassic Park. And what we hope to do with all of you together at once is create a nice little Jurassic landscape, including forests, including dinosaurs, of course, including water, whatever you think is fits a Jurassic Park. And what you can use for that are tiny little dots. And those tiny little dots are already at your disposal. They are just beneath, though, that big movie picture poster. If you zoom in a little bit, you'll see greenish dots, bluish dots, all kinds of different. Yeah, there you go. All kinds of different colors. If you zoom in a little bit, Jordann, you can see it.
I started sharing the screen, so the screen recording people will also know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's
over
good
here
to see.
are the tiny dots. And start building Jurassic Park with the dots below.
Yeah, you can do so now. If your computer has some trouble with Miro, with the performance, you can see a lot of people with their cursor on it. You can click on the top bottom, on the top bar where Jordann is now, where it says hide collaborators cursors. This will increase your performance quite a bit.
You can take a look in Zoom to see where the button is. It is highlighted at my screen. At the top right is the flying cursor. If you click that, it will be a lot easier to navigate Miro because you don't see all the other cursors.
So go ahead, collaboratively build some dinosaurs, some forest around it. Let's see if we can crack out some typical dinosaurs that you recognize from the movie. So while you're busy building your dinosaur, let me give you a little voiceover of why we are doing this. A, because it's fun to create a couple of dinosaurs. B, also to get people to know Miro a little bit if they haven't experienced it yet. And if they have experienced it, you can see how other people are using it, and you might want to ask, hey, how are you doing this stuff? So you can learn from each other while using such a nice interactive tool that Miro is. And of course, the art created is very nice to have after your session is done. I see some really nice minimalistic dinosaurs being built with palm trees. If you think, what's he talking about, you can zoom in and zoom out using your mouse wheel if you have a mouse, or with your trackpad while pinching your fingers on the trackpad, or on the bottom right, there you see a plus and a minus in Miro, and you can click those pluses and minuses to zoom in and zoom out.
Nice. All right. See quite some dinos appearing now left and right. Wonderful, wonderful. Ed, let's continue for 1 more minute.
Yeah, I think in 1 more minute we'll have some great dinosaurs. Oh, I see Gate is duplicating and grouping stuff.
I know, countdown.
Yeah, she just heard, just a minute. Let me rapidly prototype my dinosaur to readiness.
Let me refresh, see what happens. This is an interesting bug.
Awesome. Also, some people shortcutting to images. Some siblings, or what is it? The triplet, quadruplet.
It used to be a Siamese dinosaur, but they got split.
Life will find a way.
Nice reference.
Also a beautiful volcano I just spotted in the.
All right, thank you, everyone. We figured by now people had some time to figure out Miro, how it works, and some time for other people who joined a little bit later to land. So we will round up our zoom in exercise for now, and feel free to take a look at the wonderful dinosaur art that you've created. If we take a quick look, we see lots of brontosaurs, although there are other types of dinosaur that look like it but have different names. I'm not sure about this green thing here. That's a bug, it seems, as it doesn't scroll with the background. Over here, nice. This is like a camel swan dinosaur. And over here, the flying one, the pterodactyl. Oh, sorry, pterodactyl. He pees silent. And this is a big-toothed T-Rex kind of thing. All right, all right. Reshare the Miro link, of course.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Yep. Let me see if it helps if I stop sharing and share again. So the artifacts are out. But then we're ready to continue while Eddy shares the Miro link.
Yep. But I think it's good if you continue sharing your screen.
Yep.
So Damon asked us to have a keynote at this wonderful event, and what we've been doing for a long time now, as Jordann said in the beginning, is transforming workplaces one game at a time. We discovered we were using quite a lot of games in our work as organizational coaches or organizational advisors. And we thought, why not help others also facilitate wonderful, serious games? So that's why we started the company, The Serious Gamers. And what you see now on our screen is our mission. And our mission is
transforming workplaces one game at a time. This is also why we do sessions like this. Eddy and I, we can wear coats like superheroes, but we don't scale that well as humans. So by teaching other people how to do these kind of things within their own teams, projects, and organizations, we hope to have more impact on our mission and make work a better place. Heal the world. Okay. Also, one of the keys is the debrief, as you see in the top right corner. As we believe a serious game is an excuse for debrief. The goal is not to play a game. The goal is not even to finish the game. The goal is to have a shared experience and then reflect with everyone. So do debrief on it. See what happens, and then through that shared experience, you have a reference point. Also, serious games, what we think is really important, they create a safe space. They create a space where there's no hierarchy. The only hierarchy is Eddy and me as facilitators in this case. If you fail in the game, oh, you won't hear about it at your end of year reporting. So games create a space where it's people are more seduced to experiment, to try out new behavior. If you fail at the game, try again. Let's see if I do better next time. If you ask people to do the same in work, well, I think most of us know what the outcome will be then. So this is why we believe serious games are a wonderful platform to help people embrace change.
which we have done now for 5 years almost. And within that 5 years, we've trained many people to do the same as we do. And it took us quite some time to discover actually how can we categorize all the different games that we have, because we had a bunch of games, but then we started to realize maybe there's a way how we can categorize them and also tell other people or help other people understand what game to pick. And that's how the wheel of debrief came into existence. And one drowsy Sunday morning, Jordann thought, okay, let's create a couple of categories, which you see on the left and on the right side. What topics do we actually debrief on? So you see on the left top corner, there were games we debriefed on building connections and having empathy, listening, getting to know each other. We had games that we used to debrief common language or mutual understanding, team dynamics, T-shaping, cross-skilling. Well, the list goes on and on and on. And as Jordann had categorized these, he found that there were some commonalities between those, and they resulted into 12 categories. And the 12 categories apparently also fitted into 4 quadrants. Would you elaborate a little bit more on the 4 quadrants, Jordann?
Yes, yes. As Eddy introduced already, we didn't invent a model. We just felt the need to have some better grip on like our library of 150 serious games. And we accidentally stumbled onto the model. So indeed, we had the 12 categories that you see in the circle and on the sides. And taking a look at it again a few weeks later, we felt like, whoa, they actually add up. So connection and storytelling in the upper left corner, communication and collaboration. These are all about people doing things together. They're about interactions. And there was another set of things, critical thinking, lower left, creative thinking and association interpretation. Wait, these topics are all what's happening inside of people, inside of their brains, inside of their heads, inside of their hearts. Then on the other side, we had much more things that were about the structure or the context. So there we had in the upper right, we had the practices. So what are people doing together? Or sorry, what is the process and the structures that people are creating together? And in the lower right corner, we have things that are much more about what is behind the structures that they build, what is behind their thinking. So much more the principles behind it. So as you can see on the axis, that means on one side we have people, and on the right side we have systems. On the top side we have, hey, what are we doing? And on the bottom side we have, hey, what's happening behind it, below the waterline, the being. So we've been using this model for a few years now that we stumbled on by accident, and it is helping us tremendously to, instead of playing a game, starting with the debrief. As we just said, a serious game is an excuse for debrief. So that really helps us to nail down, why are we playing? What do we hope that people walk away with? The model is yours to use if you feel it helps you. It helps us also maybe to sit with a client or a team where the challenge is. Sometimes we use it behind the scenes for ourselves. Sometimes we show it and we walk through it together. So use it as you feel it might help you. But this is what we do it. But we could talk about this the full hour, but we want to play, of course. So unless you have something to add, Eddy, I would suggest we go on.
Well, what I have to add is that there are many ways how you can categorize games, obviously. And I do want to give a shout out to Dennis Wagner, who is also in the call today, I just saw. And he and Mark Bless had just released in English the book Agile Games and Simulation. And in that book, there's also a categorization of games. So if this one doesn't fancy you, there's another one that you can use.
All right. Then I think we can continue, Ed. Thanks for the addition. Let me share the screen again, so the people that will look back at the keynote at least see what is going on now.
Oh, I forgot we're being recorded.
Yeah.
Eddy, maybe we should do a director's cut. That's so afterwards people will see, whoa, what is happening here?
Yeah. What you
But
see here is people puzzling and people being puzzled.
let us zoom in. So the idea is that you have to create at least 5 pointy arrows, like the upper left one, provided using the shape provided. So no copy or duplication. So they're playing for 5 minutes, then they'll debrief, then they play, then they'll debrief. And these are the shapes provided. So as you see, there's different colors all around. So every team has their own playground to do these things. And as you see, some teams are look, they're using more than just their own board. Somebody lost a red arrow. Yeah, here's something interesting happening. Nice. It's a colorful interpretation of the exercise. So people are trying to figure stuff out while they play. And after 5 minutes, we will make sure that the debrief questions come in, so every group knows what are we supposed to do next. All right, but since everyone is back from the breakout rooms now, let's take a look at the initial assignment. Create at least 5 pointy arrows, like the upper left one provided, using the shape provided, without copying or duplication. And we see some teams that, decent job, good on the way. Some pieces overlapping here. We have some teams that we felt, oh, they're pretty close. They're pretty close. Already 4. We have a team that, well, they broke the rules because probably it gave them more joy, but there was definitely some duplication or copying going on over here. And maybe borrowing from other frames. That's also an option. Yeah, let's take a look, because we saw over here, almost there. And over here, we saw a team that figured it out. Awesome job, frame 14. And for the people at home, if we move the pieces a little bit apart, you'll be able to see how they were able to solve it. So these were all the 7 pieces provided. These are the break lines. And if you look at the white space in the middle, there you have the 5th arrow. So it was definitely possible to create 5 arrows with pieces provided, but it was a pretty tough puzzle, and there's multiple solutions. They did it on their own. You could have also maybe collaborated with another room and see, hey, if we put our pieces together, are we able to make 5 or maybe even more pieces that way?
Because
Sorry?
the fun thing is, let me just show you one more thing. If I now cheat a little bit, well, actually, I don't need to cheat, but to make it easy, if the team 14 and another team did exactly the same thing, and they put it next to each other, what you see happens is that there are not 5 now, or 10, but there are actually 11.
Wow, are you saying that there's synergy if the right teams work together?
Exactly.
All right. Let's yes.
Yeah, we hoped you had fun with the puzzle, but also had some insights in your debrief questions, both in round 1 and in round 2. Some might be surprised by multiple questions, but especially the last one. How did collaboration start with other teams? Maybe that happened, maybe it didn't. You had your debrief within your group. Now we would like to ask you to share your takeaways as a last part of this exercise, and the frame just a little bit to the right of the exercise frames, and we'll just take a minute, not more than a minute, to write down your takeaways. What have you learned, or what have you gained insight on while playing this game. So Jordann is providing you with some sticky notes. Just drag one off, and you can type in them to leave your takeaway. So go ahead.
So I've brought everyone to the takeaway frame. Sorry if you were already there and I moved you, but over there, feel free to take a sticky note and write down your takeaways. And just to be clear, Damon gave us a little bit of extra time to round it up, so it fits the program.
Ish.
Ish.
I mean, it definitely fits the program, but it's another example of the timing is very ish.
Yes. It ends
Although
when
not
it's
truly an open space yet. But then whenever it starts is the right time. So a quick couple of notes while I'm thinking about them. Because of the short amount of time and the idea that online people get sort of worn out a little quicker, we decided to do just 3 hours. Part of that is there's no official breaks. So, as humans, you might need a break. So please just, get up and take a break whenever you need one. We'll still be here, and that's part of the beauty of open space. You can come and go. The other thing I wanted to point out is we have quite a few celebrities here today, but amongst them, if you're very interested in open space and you want a resource to reach out to, whether it's just for ideas or networking or help or whatever, definitely recommend April Jefferson. She does this pretty much all the time. Then the other point I wanted to make is I want you to think about all the whiteboarding that you've just done using Miro, whether it's Miro or Mural or what have you. If your organization is not regularly using these tools, it's kind of like pre-COVID. Somebody came in and ripped out all the whiteboards. Who would do that? You need a whiteboard.
all right. Please feel free to continue writing the takeaway if you're still doing that, and then we'll round it up. One frame below, and maybe later for you to take a look at, is the source of this. It's again, there's some extra shapes by accident that someone put there. It's a physical game actually that you can buy at RSVP. Seeing the point, there's physical pieces in there. If you buy it, you're allowed to reproduce it for workshop purposes. So that's what we did here online. But to be fair for the copyright owners, if you want to reuse this exercise, please buy the official set, as then the original creators are credited. There's also a comparable exercise in the systems thinking playbook. Then again, you would have to buy the book, but from there's multiple exercises like this that help people to think about the system or the bigger picture.